Think we're live. Sports fans, what's going on? Patrick over here at Ghost Picks ATS coming at you with the free play of the day in college basketball. We will be talking about our March Madness model, day 2. Day 1, we had no neutral court games. They were all home court games and, definitely threw off the model a little bit. The big favorites and those things did not cover at all. The total went 3 and 4. The ones that we suggested, the Florida Gulf Coast first half, that one hit. And then Stetson lost on the game-winning shot, and then we did lose the other one easily in the Youngstown State. But I wanted to real quick get on into this Texas-Arlington Raging Cajun. If you are joining me live, I like Texas-Arlington here in the second half. Good insight into this one. Louisiana Lafayette shot lights out in the first half. Texas-Arlington is a pretty experienced team. Though Lafayette plays pretty good defense, I do expect them to regress in the second half offensively. So I will definitely be taking Texas-Arlington in the second half. So if you're live with me there, let's roll with that one. But getting on into some of the later games, no insight into this game or any of the ones yesterday. The model was right on, especially in the neutral court games. As far as home court games today, there is a couple big favorites that show some slight leans, but nothing that's going to draw me in. Those home court games are not the ones that we are really looking at. We are more so looking at the neutral games, neutral court games, and there is one in particular. For the first time, we are getting into it this year. They have, let me see it. The West Coast Conference is playing at home. Not at home. West Coast Conference is at Las Vegas. So no home games for those guys. Those are on a neutral court. So we'll be looking at those games in particular that go off today. And then the Sun Belt. So the Sun Belt and the other one is the OVC Conference. So there's 3 conferences going off today. Actually 4. There's 4 conferences. So we're live. All those numbers already ran, and we will get you those for today. As far as model picks, nothing too much to jumping off the board. But with that being said, we are looking at Lipscomb and Liberty as one of these picks here today. That's the one I want to get into first. In particular, Detroit as well. Talking about 2 players and one of my philosophies, especially when it comes to March, games to stay away from. So I actually have a lean on both Northern Kentucky and on Lipscomb. But when I'm going against guys in March, I don't want to go against the best point guards in any conference. These 2 guys, Antoine Davis and my guy from Liberty, I'm drawing a blank on his name, 5'9", little point guard, shoots lights out. I don't like going against those guys. They control the game. They play almost all 40 minutes in those ones. So we'll be staying away from those ones. But getting on into some of the model picks for today, one that is popping is Army as a big dog in this one. Actually, they are a 1-point dog in this one. We think that Lee should be a big underdog in this one, but the fact that it is on the road, we'll be taking it moderate. So the first game that we will officially go into is Army and Lehigh, whatever, however you want to pronounce it. So Lee is one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the country, and that is a direct negative on Army. So, Army is great on the inside. They're great at forcing turnovers, but, man, they give up a lot of 3-point shots. In a game where Lee plays a very different style basketball. They immediately get back on defense. They don't give up any transition buckets, but because of that, they don't get any offensive rebounds. It's pretty much one and done every time down the court. So if they're not hot that day, they go down. So I think that's why the model likes Army here, but at home, Lee does shoot much better. So that will be a leave alone one there. The big game that it has for today, as far as a neutral court game, we're looking at 2 of them in particular, Tennessee State and Southern Missouri State. So Southern Missouri State is a 3-point favorite in this one. So if you're just joining, I am going over the March Madness model picks of the day. We're just getting into the 2 that are the official free plays. We are going with Tennessee State at Southern Missouri State and Pacific Loyola Marymount. Those two games are on neutral courts. We're showing some big advantages to the dogs in those ones, and this model definitely is one for the dogs. If it pops on a favorite, it's supposed to. That's all right. But when it pops on a dog, those hit at a damn good percentage. So that's what we're looking for today, and we got 2 of those for you coming up here today. If you could, like, comment, subscribe. If you are not, subscribe and put the comment of any correct score of any basketball game this weekend, or today, I don't know what I'm talking about, this weekend. You guess the correct score of any basketball game, and you get a free $100 package, and that is from ghostpicksats.com. But getting on back to the picks today, Southeastern Missouri, pulling it up over here, Southeast Missouri and Tennessee State. So we got Tennessee State in this one. I think Tennessee State should be favored. One of the main reasons that Southeast Missouri State is what they do, they get to the line a whole hell of a lot. They run an up-paced tempo, one of the fastest in the country. They get after it. But their defense is they are one of the worst defenses in the country. And Tennessee State has the experience, which is probably most important, and they probably have the best point guard in this game. Eric Reed for Southeast Missouri can definitely play, but doesn't really pass the ball that much. Definitely a scorer, but does not really pass the ball. And I love having a point guard that can distribute the ball come this time of year. Give me Tennessee State as your official free play of the day. I like them on the money line. That is, the model shows some value to the money line in that game. We're looking at almost 5.5 points. Now, of course, the game can't end on 0, so that takes out a little bit of it. So about a 5-point value on the dog, and that is enough for me. Considering what the money line is, I will be doing a little sprinkle on the money line in that one as well. Tennessee State over Southern Missouri State. I will take a +3 and with a sprinkle on the money line. And that's one of those neutral court games. I'm showing Tennessee State as a decent-sized favorite. Now, it will come down to whether Southeast Missouri State gets a million foul calls. They do get a lot more at home, and for whatever reason that may be, refs, that doesn't matter. But neutral court, take that away. I do believe that is what the model is kind of pointing out there. And we will be going with Tennessee State plus the points there. And then one team that I've been liking all year long, pulling this one up, Pacific versus Loyola Marymount. So as a person, I've liked Pacific all year long. They played a lot of tough games early on and played a tough conference. They scrapped out a lot of those games, including had some leads in the first half. I actually had them as like +11 first half against USC, and they were beating them outright at the half. Took them down to the wire. Pacific is one of, they started out the year about as bad as anybody, but really, really picked it up. They don't turn the ball over, which is one of my main things come March. They're great at not turning the rock over, and they don't give up offensive rebounds. Yesterday, my 2 top picks were on Oklahoma State and Arkansas. One team dominated the reboundings, Oklahoma State. One team, Arkansas, got absolutely destroyed for the first time this year on the defensive glass. One team won, one team did not. Arkansas got absolutely crushed yesterday because they could not clean up the defensive glass versus LSU. They had like 23 offensive rebounds. That's insane. So you got to clean up the glass. Turnovers, major key. And Pacific, they surely don't shoot the ball well. So if they shoot the ball well, they run away with this game, in my opinion. But I think they beat Loyola Marymount on all other ends of the court. And on the neutral splits or neutral court, I do believe Pacific, even though 3-11 in conference versus 3-12 Loyola Marymount. Loyola Marymount definitely has the better offense, and that is because of what they can do inside. But Pacific is athletic. I mean, they're very athletic at the rim and can disrupt some shots. So I'm rolling with Pacific here. I think Pacific rolls, to be honest with you. I've anybody who's been with me the second half of the year definitely rode Pacific a good amount. They lost a lot of tight games early on and to good teams. So give me Pacific plus the points. They are +5. My model is showing them as a 1-point dog in this one. So we'll be taking the sprinkle on the money line as that one on that one as well. That is a little less value than the game before, but hey, not too bad. Let's see. Some of the other games late tonight, we are getting into the neutral one, so it's a great time of the year. This is where the model should be. Some of the other games late tonight, fully kicking. And we got Evansville, Tennessee Tech, Pepperdine. So let me see what I got. Oh, who we got down in the chat over here? Brian, what's going on with Gooch? Yes, sir. Talking about golf. Golf off to a pretty good start. TBD. It's a long 4 days. I mean, that's tough to call anything out ahead of time, so keep that in the back of the mind there. But Gooch doing pretty good. Good day to start. Nice little bounce back. So we'll root him in. And Adam Svensson. Still can't pronounce the guy's name, but damn, I love him. So that is who we'll be riding in golf. If you're getting into anything late here, Rory dominated the course early on. But shoot, this is a basketball pod, so we'll get back onto the basketball train here. One thing in particular I wanted to bring up in this Tennessee Tech Morehead State game. Morehead State is at the 8-point favorite, as they probably should be. But Tennessee Tech was very, very, very nearly a pick last night on my model. And yet, here they are, neutral court, Morehead State, 8-point dog. I kind of think they're rolling. So catching the 8 points. The model doesn't really show too much value. It's got them as a 6-point dog in this one, not 8. So that's not enough to really trigger anything. Not official play, but I will be going with Tennessee Tech as well. So we'll be coming out later with a later video on some golf and some more college basketball. But until then, good luck. God bless. Grind on. Official free plays here. We are rolling with Tennessee State plus the 3. A little sprinkle on the money line versus Southern Missouri State. And then we are taking Pacific plus the points against Loyola Marymount as your official 2 model plays of the day. Day 2, March Madness model. We'll be kicking all the way up until March Madness. So join in, subscribe, like, comment any games you want to see in the tomorrow, whatever. And let's roll. Peace. Maybe. Go Tennessee State, baby.